What is going on, online fitness coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives, Make Money Online Training Podcast. This is the #1 show for online fitness coaches who are trying to grow a successful online business. In today's episode, we're talking about this idea that it's normal to get discouraged as long as you don't quit. And I'm joined by the one, the only, Mr. Cole Lewis De Silva. What's up, brother?
What's going on, fam? That was another good intro. I'll give you that. That was smooth. I'm super excited for this episode because I feel like a lot of people look at myself and you as people who don't usually get discouraged, people who don't or at least speak about getting discouraged that often. I feel like a lot of people will look at that, so I'm excited to break this down.
Can we talk about the fact that I feel like I'm like Bruce Buffer when I introduce you on the podcast?
No, I definitely disagree. I feel like, like Bruce Buffer. So, okay, some intros are good. We'll talk about this for a second. Some intros are good. All right. It's like Bruce Buffer level. You guys know who's like the dude who does boxing introductions? I'm pretty sure he's a buffer too. Trash. All right. I'm just going to say,
Yo, I am Bruce.
Bruce Buffer is like the golden standard. And like some days you're like a Bruce Buffer announcer. And then some days you're like pro level boxing announcer.
Yo, homie, why you got to do me like that? I
said some days.
I threw a fire intro at you and you're doing me like that on the potty.
Today you're a Bruce Buffer. Most days it's like,
all right.
Most days it's like your mom on a birthday.
Right.
It's your birthday. They're right away.
Oh, fuck you. Okay. Okay. That's the last time I even tried to be Bruce Buffer level. That's the last time. Next time you're getting Richard Buffer. That's what you're getting next time. Okay. So guys, we're talking about discouragement today. And this one is for the new online coach, the newer online coach. This is for the online coach that's just getting started with social media that, you want to post and you want to attract more clients. This one's for the online coach that's like really excited to grow their coaching business, but you're really nervous to get on calls. This is for the online coach that's nervous to send out DMs because maybe they sent out one and it didn't go their way. And this is also for the online coach that maybe you caught a little bit of momentum at the start of your business, but all of a sudden you catch yourself in a slump and you feel discouraged. How many of you guys fit any of the above criteria?
I feel like we've been in the above criteria. That's why I'm excited for this fucking podcast right now.
Yep. So I actually want to share a conversation I had with one of my clients. And it's one of my clients I reached out to. And she lives in Kelowna. And I'm not going to give away. I always do this. And then I always end up saying the fucking name, but whatever. She lives in Kelowna. And I was like, I just want to reach out and see how she's doing because I saw her in the gym one day. I was like, hey, how's your first few weeks? Give me an update. She's like, man, I haven't sold the program, but I think it's because I'm terrified of sales calls. I'm like avoiding them. People are interested, but I'm having troubles converting. I'm like, well, screw selling the program because she's afraid of sales calls. I'm like, have you booked a call yet? She's like, I booked one, but they bailed and they gave me a lame excuse. And then when I reached out again, she said she was going to do it alone. So I gave her some tips and I'm always going to be here. So I was like, okay. And how many of you guys have ever done that before where you booked a call with a client and then they bailed? It sucks, right? Because you're like, man, I was so excited to help this person change their life. And then they bailed on the call. And so I was like, you know what? You need to just book your first call. I'm like, yep. Right now you're afraid of making sales or being salesy. And so you're not booking any calls. And then when you go to book your first call, she didn't show up and then you got discouraged. And because you got discouraged, you're not booking any calls. I'm like, don't worry about making sales. You need to focus on booking your next call. Just book your next call. She's like, but I'm just nervous to talk on the phone. I'm also not confident in selling, and I think you nailed it when I need to focus on booking calls because I think I just got discouraged. So guys, I think that when we first get into online coaching or when we first start any sort of journey, whether that be a fitness journey and Cole, you can talk about your fitness clients with this as well. When you first start a fitness journey or first start your online coaching business, it's almost like you get super excited. You're like, oh, I'm so pumped. New Year's resolutions. I'm so excited to lose weight. And then you hit a little bit of adversity. You hit one roadblock and then you're like, fuck, this person bailed or I missed my workout and now all of a sudden you feel discouraged. And because you feel discouraged, you don't end up taking any action.
Well, 100%. And this is a normal thing that I feel like everybody experiences. And again, I'm trying not to ramble too much on this episode. I feel like everybody experiences this and it's a normal feeling, right? We get excited, we get amped up, we get, I guess, what's that, the feeling of euphoria where everything's just so perfect. It's like everything's falling in line and then one thing throws us off track, maybe bumps us in the wrong direction for a couple seconds. And it throws us right off because our mindset doesn't know how to deal with that discouragement because you had this entire plan in your head that isn't working out the way that you thought it was going to. And then it throws you off immensely, but you got to find a way to like push through that and really take your goals to the next level, regardless of your plan getting fucked up a little bit.
No, this is the thing with discouragement, right? So if we think about this idea of like discouragement is like when you're going after something that you want and you're excited, like maybe you're excited to grow your coaching business. Maybe you're excited to sign your first client. Maybe you're excited to get on your first sales call with somebody that's actually interested in purchasing your program. And then that person no-shows you, they say no, or something happens that like causes you to hit a slump or a perceived failure, right? Discouragement is like when you are excited about something and then it doesn't end up panning out. And then you start beating yourself up. You're like, man, like I knew this wasn't going to work. This was super hard. But I want you guys to understand something. Like when you're growing your coaching business, even the act of you getting discouraged, even the fact that you're getting discouraged means that you're moving in the right direction because you're causing yourself to get out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
So if you are discouraged right now, I want you to know that like that's actually a good thing. It really is, because it means you're actually trying. Like you're in the arena, like you're still here. Now, the problem is that when online coaches, and this is especially true with online coaches that join the 10K Coaching Academy, they're so fucking pumped up to get started. They're so pumped up to get into the units because they know we helped 131 students hit $10,000 a month. And then when the first sign of adversity comes their way or the first no-show that they get, they stop studying the units because they're like, oh man, like, you know, that person bailed on me and it sucks. That's how many of you guys have ever said that before? That sucks.
We've probably seen like 30 of those motherfuckers in the last like 2 months because everybody gets discouraged on a weekly basis. The big thing that I kind of want to like focus on for a second, guys, but what Brian just said there is like embracing it. All right. Understanding that discouragement is a good thing because it means you're moving in the right direction. A little bit of like a tip, guys, that I've always ran with, especially with building my fitness coaching business when I was doing it, is whenever I started to feel overwhelmed, discouraged, thrown off, whatever the case may be, I would lean into it more because that was the thing that's going to help me grow. All right. And like, yeah, it fucking sucks. No one likes booking 12 calls and having half of them not show up. It's discouraging as hell. And not even 12 calls, maybe 2 calls and not having them show up because it's discouraging as hell. But that means you're trying, that means you're growing, and that means that you are embracing the fact that you could fail and it will really take you farther in life. So I really want to just emphasize on that for a second.
So I want to talk about I love that, bro. That's so good. I want to talk about discourage. What is that? Like, if you think about the actual word discourage, it like discourage, like a lack of courage, like no courage. That's what discourage means, right? And so discourage means that, you know, something happened and now as a result of the client bailing or you getting rejected on the phone or you making the CTA and nobody posting that they're interested, now you have a lack of courage about your online coaching business. You have a lack of courage about getting on sales calls. You have a lack of courage about posting on social media because you think it's just not going to work out for you.
Yep.
And so the invitation, I remember I was talking to this client, the same one that I was talking to in the DMs that I was sharing with you guys. I told this client, I'm like, you literally need to focus on booking 2 calls. Like, that's it. I'm like, don't focus on making sales. Don't focus on like anything else other than booking 2 calls. I'm like, book 2 calls in the next 7 days and message me when you do. So she messages me. She's like, I booked 2. And she messages me 24 hours later. The first one said no to me on the phone. I'm like, keep going. Get on the next call. She got on the next call. Boom. Sold their first client. But here's what happens, right? Most online trainers do this. They join the academy and then they're like going through the units. They're super excited. They're super pumped up. And then they book their first call. And if you get discouraged, this is what's going to happen. You book your first call. When you book a call with somebody, there's always a percentage chance that call is going to bail. Sometimes always. 10, 20, 30%, whatever. Like there's a percentage chance that the call is going to bail. Especially if you're new to the DM script, like you don't really understand the psychology behind it. So you might just be like running through the script and you might not, like they might not be as interested as you think they are. So there's a percentage chance that they're going to bail. So if you come into the first call and they bail on the first call, you could get so discouraged, then a lot of online trainers get discouraged. And as a result, they don't go into the units anymore and they never further their progress. And that's why they'll get stuck, is because they get discouraged. Like discouragement is the devil. And so if you understand, and then there's some online coaches that come into the program and by like luck of the draw, the first call that they get on, they sign their client at a paid in full. Like that online trainer is usually the one that does well in the course because immediately now they have courage and they're like, oh shit, this is going to work. And now they're courageous enough to go into the units and keep fucking going.
Yep.
Right. But like you can't, guys, your courage can't depend on your results. Your courage shouldn't depend on something external. It shouldn't depend on whether or not somebody shows up to a call or not. It shouldn't depend on whether or not somebody says yes or no to you on the phone. Like your courage should be fully dependent on yourself and being like, yo, I'm just going to figure this out and make this happen. And I remember like, let's talk about discouragement with you, Cole, like with your Instagram. Cause I know that there was a period in time with your Instagram where you're like, yo, I'm just going to like, you were super discouraged. You're like,
100%. I'm going to break it down in a second, guys, but I want to like touch on that one thing B just said as well. When he was just explaining everything that he just broke down to you guys, he was talking about people getting discouraged based off of other people not giving them the recognition that they wanted. All right. Like you making a post and you're not getting the leads that you want, or you getting on a call and them saying no. That means you're putting all your faith in keeping your courage based off of somebody else's thoughts towards yourselves. And that's what's going to make you fail no matter what. It's like the same thing when you guys are setting your goals on a weekly basis. Like if you set goals based around like, well, I want these many followers, I want to connect with these many people. That means all your goals are based around other people's actions. All right. If they don't take action, you don't hit your goals. And that's what's going to discourage you, really push you farther down in life. So the reason why I want to share with you first, before I talk about the Instagram thing, is because that's what I was doing as well. So for everybody who doesn't know, like no joke, like 3 months ago, I tried to find the post because I was talking about it in one, but I couldn't find it this morning. But like 3 months ago, I was going to quit Instagram. And it was because I've been growing my Instagram for like 4 years now. I started at like 400 followers or 200 followers, and I built it up to like 20 something thousand. But in that time, all right, this was like the beginning of me starting my journey. I hired a lot of Facebook or fucking Instagram growth gurus, people that were supposed to help you with social media, all right, teach you what to post, etc. Long story short, my account got fucked. All right, my engagement was absolutely destroyed. Like, I'm talking about some days I would get 10 views on my stories. And then other days I'd have like 400, 500, 600. And I had no idea how to fix it. I had no idea what the fuck was going on in my account because I had it connected to my Facebook account. And it was completely banned. My Facebook account got banned because of Facebook ads, old mentor teaching us the wrong things. There was just so much happening that I finally was like, fuck it, I'm done. I'm done with Instagram. I'm not fucking posting on it anymore. And it was because I was focused on the external. Like my main mission is to inspire and help one person a day. It's literally why I like to post on TikTok and why I like to post on Instagram. If I can help one person a day, that's what makes me happy. But I got pushed away from that. I was focusing on the external too much. I want the followers, I want the likes, I want the comments. Like those numbers weren't big for me. So yeah, I might get fucking 100 views, but that wasn't good enough for me at the time because I was looking at the external. I was trying to take value from all the extra bullshit. And it took me a fucking while to get into it, but I didn't give up. I just kept going, even though I wanted to, even though I literally told Brian, fuck Instagram. I'm literally done with this bullshit app. I'm like, nothing's working here. I kept going. All right. Regardless of being a little discouraged, I grinded through it. I took my own advice. I said that I need to keep pushing forward. And now 3 months later, my account has gone up by 7.5 thousand followers on Instagram. And my TikTok is blown up to 139,000 followers now. Just because I finally pushed through that fucking barrier, everything clicked and everything fell into line like I've been wanting it to do for so fucking long. But if I would have got discouraged and actually quit fucking Instagram, there'd be a lot of people right now that aren't even in the academy. Because a lot of people have been coming in the academy through my account recently. All right, there'd be a lot of people that aren't being helped right now because I would have let my mindset get in the way of my growth and my fucking mission on a daily basis. And that's why we preach guys to not get discouraged every single day.
So I love that story. Discourage is the lack of courage. Mm-hmm. So in order to overcome discouragement, you need to be courageous.
Yep.
And be courageous. And guys, write this down. Be courageous enough to take the next step. Be courageous enough to take the next step. Because I think that like so many of you guys are over, I know you're about to say something. So many of you guys are like overthinking this whole success thing, right? You're like, oh man, like Cole's at 130,000 followers and I'm at 3 followers on fucking TikTok. How am I going to get to Cole's? Be courageous enough to take the next step. And that's it. That's all you ever need to do is be courageous enough to take the next step. And the next step is the next post. The next step is the next video. The next step is the next DM. Like, be courageous enough to take the next step and just keep fucking going.
The next step is the next idea. You literally just said something that triggered another thing that I could talk about being discouraged. Because if people, they'll look at the following now that I had on TikTok, and again, they don't even know the story of me wanting to quit Instagram 3 months ago. But guys, in order for me to get to where I was on TikTok today, I needed to get out of my own way and start being courageous. And I did that by sharing my own voice. If you guys scroll down, like I can show you the videos on my TikTok that were right before my account blew up. I was around 30,000 followers. That was a grind, months and months and months to get there. But I was posting other people's voices for motivational content, etc. Because I wasn't courageous enough to use my voice. Julia then pushed me. I built up the courage, started using my own voice, and then pop. Everything just switched on social media right away.
I love it.
I wanted to touch on that as well because it's a fucking important point.
I love it. So I want to talk about some of our clients that have been courageous enough to take the next step. And one of them is Caleb Zisk. So remember, Caleb Zisk was in the 10K mastermind, and this was last year. And Caleb, in his second month in the mastermind in 2020, like when COVID hit, it like hit hard. And he's like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to like make it through this. Like, you know, like the mastermind payment every month. And like, I'm like, my business isn't growing at the rate that I wanted to. And then all of a sudden now COVID hit. And I remember me and him talked, and I talked him off the ledge, and he ended up staying in the mastermind. And now, and 3 months later, he had $10,000 a month. And now Caleb's a head coach in the 10K Coaching Academy.
Yep.
And so if Caleb would have given up, then he wouldn't have been a coach. He wouldn't have got to $10,000 a month, and he wouldn't be inspiring the people that he's inspiring. He was courageous enough to take the next step. Y'all know Kirsten Martell, my fiance. So Kirsten Martell, when she, this is a funny story. Kirsten Martell literally hated booking calls and making sales calls, hated it. She felt like she wasn't as knowledgeable as the other students in the 10K, like back in the day in the PT Domination program. She felt like she was super behind everyone. She like literally thought, she was like, I hate getting on phone calls. I don't like getting on phone calls. And because every time she'd get on a phone call, it would last like an hour, hour and a half, because she was so freaking nice. And she would just talk, and then she wouldn't make the sale. So she'd waste an hour and a half. And then I'm like, you need to like get on role plays. And so I tried to make her book role plays, but every time she booked a role play, she wanted to vomit. And so she just like, but she was courageous enough to just like, keep going, keep pushing through. Now she has 750 clients, and she's leading the baddest gang girl on the net. It's like, you have to keep pushing. You have to keep, even Natasha, you remember Natasha when she first joined the mastermind?
Natasha's story, guys, is honestly like one of my favorite ever. For a couple reasons. Number one, because it just shows how strong of a human being she is and like why we fucking love her so much. But number two, because it also shows how savage we are, and we just threw her into the fucking wolves and said, you better learn how to fight or you're going to get eaten alive. Long story short, guys, there was 4 people in the mastermind. If I'm not mistaken, it was Christian Fleenor, Caleb, Sprinkle, and Mav, right? Mav Willett.
Yep.
So we had them in our elite mastermind. We called it like elite boot camp or whatever the fuck. We also brought Natasha in. Now, Natasha was only making $3,000 at the time, and everybody else was either almost over $10,000 a month or over $10,000 a month, and they wanted to take it to the next level. And guys, no joke, literally, she's actually talked about this in the academy before. After the first mastermind call we had, Natasha actually just went and cried on her couch. She's like, I shouldn't be here. Like, fucking, I'm way out of my league. These guys are way above me. She was the only girl in the mastermind, again, because both of us as the coaches are guys, and then everybody else was there was guys. So it was super intimidating for her. So she felt like she was super off. And then 5 months later, she was making $25,000 a month. And 2 years after that, all right, she has a business right now with over 100 employees, making $50,000 plus a month, and is helping out with PT Domination, with the fucking mastermind, etc. So like, it just shows you guys to not get discouraged and don't fucking quit, because that girl literally went from being like the quiet one, like, oh my God, I should not fucking be here, to the powerhouse out of those 4 people, straight up, in my opinion.
I love it so much. And guys, it's normal to get discouraged. Everybody gets discouraged. It's normal to get discouraged as long as you don't quit. And there was it's funny because like now I'm experimenting with my TikTok videos. I hired a TikTok mentor, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, like for like, I think it was like a month. I posted TikTok videos that were getting 200 to 500 views. And I was posting 3 to 7 a day. And I was like, because you guys know me, I'm super, super, super consistent. Like that is one thing that I'm very, very good at. But for some reason, they just weren't catching. And you better believe I was getting fucking discouraged. I call me like, dude, I have no idea. Like, I don't understand. I'm like, why? Like, why is this happening? Like, but I'm never going to quit ever. And so it's just like adjusting and figuring it out and like, and pivoting and finding a different approach and taking a different direction, learning more information. Like it's normal to get discouraged as long as you don't quit. One of our clients, his name's Trent Harrison. You guys all know Trent. If you're in the academy, you know Trent. He's done a training on TikTok lead generation. And I'm going to talk about Trent on 2 levels. The first thing is that when Trent first joined PC Domination, he went 0 for 13 on his first round of sales calls.
Yeah.
0 out of 13 call. You imagine getting on 0 out of 13 call, like selling 0 out of 13 clients. So when Trent messaged me, like he went 0 for 13, I was like, what? I'm like, dude, that is insane. I'm like, okay, we got to get you on some role plays. So we got him on some role plays, practice his sales game. He jumped on Savage Sales. You remember that?
Yeah.
Jumped on Savage Sales. We got him some, feedback from Cole. We do Savage Sales trainings in the academy. And as a result of that, after he got on role plays and after he got on Savage Sales, like he went 8 for 8. And now this is a year and a half later, Trent has a business that makes $30,000 a month. He's got 278,000 followers on TikTok. It's like, and he's living his dream life because he didn't fucking quit.
Exactly.
But if Trent would have quit after like going 0 for 13, he wouldn't be Trent Harrison. He wouldn't be doing trainings in the 10K Coaching Academy. And so if you're listening to this right now and you're discouraged, right? You had something that, you were excited about that didn't go your way. Maybe you started out the academy and you had some momentum and then all of a sudden you fell off track. Maybe you tried to book a sales call and they bailed on you. Maybe they showed up and they said no to you. Like it's totally fucking normal. It's totally normal. And you know what's funny is I feel like in the academy, Cole, we talk so much about mindset. And it's because we have the blueprint, and I actually get asked this frequently on in my DMs. They're like, why, if you've helped 1,000 coaches, why are only 131 of them over 10K a month? I'm like, it's fucking mindset.
It's a mindset. It's literally like, it is such a corny fucking thing to say.
I know
like,
it
whenever
is.
I say it, it drives me insane because nobody ever listens. Everybody's like, oh, okay, cool. It's the mindset. What's the actual ninja trick, motherfucker? Like, give me the ninja trick and I'll pay you. And it's like, the ninja trick is do the same fucking thing every single day for months on end and you'll see results.
Yep.
It's literally it.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. How many of you guys have ever heard this saying from like famous bodybuilders saying that if you want to be in amazing shape, if you want to like look your best, eat like a dog? Anybody ever heard that before? Because a dog eats the same amount of food that's healthy food every fucking day, no matter what. They get their exercise, they eat the same portion amount of food every single day, no matter what. And if you do that as a human being, all right, the same portion food every single day, good, dense food, you're going to look great. Well, it's the same fucking thing with your business. It's do the same shit every fucking day, no matter what. And that's why we talk about a morning routine. That's why we talk about leaning into certain things. And that's why I also break down that you should be trying to challenge yourself and like push yourself out of your comfort zone every single day.
Yep.
The more you make yourself uncomfortable, the more you're going to fucking grow. This is why every time I feel a little uncomfortable, I lean in a little bit more. You guys don't think me and Brian felt uncomfortable when we got the opportunity to buy the gym recently? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, we've got 850 clients now in the academy. All right, we're running a mastermind that currently has 23 students, and we're looking to bring on more soon. All right, we have a gym with 1,000 fucking clients. Like, we're uncomfortable almost every day.
Yup.
There's always another thing that comes up, but the more we're uncomfortable, the better our lives become. So we lean into that shit. Lean into it. I'm feeling a little bit too relaxed now, and I'll lean into something else. If I feel a little bit too relaxed, I'll lean into the next thing. I'll find something to make me uncomfortable so I can grow more as a human being.
But the problem is that the reason that a lot of you guys aren't doing the things every single day that are necessary for success, like guys, if you're in the 10K Coaching Academy and you're listening to this, you should be watching a video every day.
Yep.
Every day.
Every single day.
And I talk about this frequently. I literally made a post about this the other day. And I was like, when's the last time you watched an Academy video? Because like, this is the blueprint. Like it works. Like, and I know it works because we had 131 students hit $10,000 a month. And so if you master the fundamental, it's just like fitness, like learn, you know, what your maintenance are, like get in the caloric deficit, you know, drink your water and go to the gym and you'll be lean. It's pretty simple once you understand it. And then once you understand it, you get it, like you'll be able to maintain it. And that's what you guys are investing for. You're investing in the system, but you also have to invest in yourself. And that means that like, you have to be like, and investing in yourself isn't just money either. It's also like energy, emotional energy and time. Cause like, guess what? Like taking action when you're discouraged is hard, but guess what else is hard? Working a fucking 9 to 5.
Yo, I said this the other day on Savage Sales, if I'm not mistaken. Savage Sales is a Q&A, but I said it's a lot harder to quit and restart than it is to push through the things you're struggling with.
Ooh, can you say that again? That's fire.
And this is something that a lot of you guys need to embrace. It's a lot harder to quit and restart than it is to push through the things you're struggling with. And it might not seem that way at the time. All right, you might feel super discouraged and you might want to quit and you might feel like that's the only option for you. But I fucking promise you that stopping and restarting is always harder. Always.
Yeah.
No matter what, because you lose momentum, you get discouraged, then you got to fucking restart, figure out your new flow. Like it's just always going to be fucking harder. So push through that shit. Embrace being uncomfortable, embrace being discouraged, and learn how to move through it.
Boom. I love it. I think I want to end on that, guys. That's it. That's all. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Change Lives Make Money Online Trainer Podcast, the #1 show for online fitness coaches who are trying to go successful online business. Cole, where do these people find you? Where do they find you?
On Instagram or TikTok at Cole Lewis da Silva, ColeLuisDasilva, or Spotify or Apple Podcasts with the Wake Up with the Wolf podcast.
Boom. Guys, have the best day of your entire life, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.